Aloha, my loves. Helena Das here, and my beloved Indigo is there behind us. And I was guided today to actually make a quick video and share or answer a question that I often get and have gotten often over the years. And that question has to do with why or how I traded in my DVM. And for those of you who don't know what that stands for, it essentially stands for Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine, which I received in 1994 from Cornell University College of Veterinary Medicine in Ithaca, New York. And why I traded that in to become an intuitive energy healer, weaver, and body brilliance coach. And so, the answer to this question is not really simple. And there are certainly, it was a series of events, and there are many layers that led to that decision and, if you will, the metamorphosis of, who I thought I was and have come to be. But, what I would like to say today in kind of a quick reference points as far as a couple of the events that really shape-shifted my world, if you will, my life, living in reality, and helped me really align with my soul's calling, my soul's truth, and my soul's path, or dharma, or destiny. Dharma meaning divine duty or sacred mission or purpose. And so, the first one was really probably the biggest, and that had to do with the loss of my very first horse, Skipper, in 2007, 3 months after losing my mother's. Now, some of you may have heard this story. Hi, Indy. And yes, I know it's almost dinner time. Some of you may have heard this story before, and just suffice it to say, really, that the extreme grief and loss that I experienced in that process of, again, losing my first horse, my first love, my first baby, after, again, 3 months losing my mother, really sent me into a place of, I can say that, like, one of the darkest nights I've ever experienced. I literally felt like I spiraled downward into the depths of the shadows, into a very dark place, which ultimately, looking back, was the chrysalis of my personal cocoon of metamorphosis, dissolving, my identity, my sense of self, and everything that I knew at that time, and really helping me to unearth not only my gifts and true purpose and path, but uncover the areas in my life that needed healing, so that I could ultimately come back home to myself, if that makes sense. And so the second event that I'm wanting to share with you had to do with a year later, where I was still seeking and still, looking for ways to heal. And I happened to attend, well, it didn't happen. I don't believe anything is an accident, but I ended up attending a workshop, an equine guided, facilitated, or assisted workshop up in Asheville, North Carolina, where I experienced one of the most magical and profound healings that was facilitated quite literally by a little black mini horse named Magic. And again, this little horse who, literally was scanning my body with his nose and, connecting with those areas in me that were energetically blocked. And I ended up having almost like a, rebirthing experience, and it was deeply profound and connected to healing the grief of, you know, the loss of my first horse. And so all of this to say, the combination of these events and so many other insights over the years that I've witnessed with the hundreds of horses that I was blessed to work with in my holistic healing practice, where I specialized in equine wellness and performance, is that the horses and the animals at the end of the day, they were the ones who were doing the healing. They are the medicine. And so, you know, I could no longer in full, you know, feel alignment or be in integrity, go down that path of, you know, doing my traditional / holistic veterinary practice the way I did. And even taking things a step further in my personal journey as I was seeking to heal from a number of health issues, at one point diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease and struggling my whole life, honestly, with chronic fatigue, anxiety, and depression, a sensitive gut, and more, endometriosis. You know, once I had started that unbridled soul journey after losing my first horse, Skipper, you know, something that really, as I mentioned earlier, I began to sort of, you know, discover some of my gifts. And with the medicine of the horse that I often refer to being of my most sacred medicines, who have helped me over the years to not only integrate and reflect and ultimately embody the shifts and the work that I was doing in the personal development arena, working with tons of coaches and healers and therapists over the years. They are the ones who truly help me to embody and integrate it, right? And anchor these shifts into my being on a really deep cellular level. And so what happened is that I noticed all of my downloads and my insights would take place. Many of my signature transmissions and tracks, for those of you who've experienced them, often are happening when I'm either riding or with my, you know, with one of my horses or my animals. So that being said, I kept desiring to find a way to bring and bottle up this magic, this medicine of the horse, to others, to those who didn't have the gift and the blessing that I had of having horses in my life, and really empower them with the shifts and healing that I was experiencing, where not only was my health improving, but, you know, on an emotional and spiritual level, again, I was really lining up with my, you know, more authentic and creative self, reclaiming my personal power and discovering in many ways, you know, who I was and who I came here to be. And so through that work, I was actually gifted and birthed a few bodies of work. Some of you may be familiar, and they include the Venus Codes, the Chiron-Codes, and the latest Empress work, which is actually an extension or expression of the Venus Codes work. And they are a marriage, if you will, a sacred fusion of the tips and tools and gems that the horses have taught me over the years, in addition to my love and fascination with the stars, which kind of helped me connect all of the dots, and then ultimately the conscious, mindful embodiment work, the Earth Star exercises that you know, I created and really cultivated over time in my personal power practice and spiritual practice. And so all of these things weave together are ultimately how Alchemy-Arena, my, you know, business for empowering sensitive, creative, heart-centered souls to really remember who they are and why they came here, to help them to thrive and shine as they learn to live in and love their bodies and heal the past wounds and trauma that I have found in my case, and those that I've worked with all over the world are at the root of divine self-expression, of self-worth, of healing physical body issues and health issues. and living our purpose. So if any of this resonates with you, I have a really special announcement. And if you're still here, first of all, kudos to you. But this time of the year is really heavenly in terms of the weather in Florida. And I haven't done this in a while, but I've been inspired to actually offer very limited, application only, private live retreats with myself and my beloved Indigo, where we will be partnering together to help you quantum leap, bust through whatever blocks you have, help you get unstuck, help you have clarity and forward movement in your life wherever you desire to either up level, go to the next level, and or move through, as I said, any blocks that you might have. Somebody's itchy, sorry. And so if this resonates with you, please reach out to me. We are so excited to bring this forward and be of support if you are feeling the nudge. And finally, the last thing that I will say is that at the end of the day, we are really here and desiring to go to our next level of empowering the trailblazers, the light workers, the spiritual warriors that are really ready to reclaim their personal power and thrive and shine. So I'm gonna let you go. He's ready for his dinner and you can say goodbye, Andy. I love you. If you're interested, please reach out and I'll get back with you. We'll have a conversation and go from there. Namaste.